Anyways, I know we haven't made a podcast in like 2-3 weeks now.
Probably about 2 weeks.
Yeah, my plan was to do a podcast every week.
I don't think it's possible to do a podcast on Easter.
Yeah, we had Easter, so which is more important than podcasts. So we celebrated that with our family. How was that for you, by the way?
It was good.
Yeah. What do you normally do on Easter?
Well, Saturday we went down to my in-laws, and we cooked Easter dinner. My wife and I.
Okay. What did you cook?
Oh.
Is that too personal?
Ham. Or no, I'm sorry. It was roast beef.
Roast beef. Okay.
And scalloped potatoes.
Is Easter something you and your family always celebrated, or is it over the years you just have started doing like a tradition with your family?
No, it's something we've always celebrated.
Okay.
Like I remember as a kid, we would have ham. We would have some sort of like green bean casserole or something like that, cornbread.
Okay.
All the works.
And your family, you're born and raised, like you were born into a Christian family, correct?
I would say so.
Yeah. How was that? Like growing up, how would you say your experience had been growing up in a Christian family? I don't know how much you have gotten to know other perspective of people who have not born and raised in a Christian family. What have you noticed? Do you know, I'm sure you have friends who weren't Christian or weren't raised in a Christian family. If you compare yourself to them, what have you noticed?
Well, I wouldn't say we were a perfect family.
Yeah.
You know, we all fought with each other over the years.
Okay.
Over silly things.
Okay.
But I mean, it's like pretty much like every other family.
Yeah. Like, are there any values a Christian family held versus a family that's a great family, you know, really good loving family, but they just don't hold the Christian values? Are there any values that you would like to adopt to your Christian family that are not from for lack of a better term, like a religious Christian family? Mm-hmm. Like you notice something, for example, you go to a different country and you saw something a different country does. They have a completely different culture and religion. They do something in their family and you're like, hey, this is pretty good. I would like to adopt that into my family. Is that something like you had mentioned you've been to India on a mission trip about 10 years ago?
Oh.
When was that?
Jeez. It was quite some time ago. I know that.
Okay. So did you notice something there and where you had this epiphany like, that's beautiful. I would like to have that into my family?
Definitely the food culture.
Okay.
Like whenever they made food, they would always sit at a table or, you know, just like always be close together.
I see. Yeah.
But I mean, as a family, like growing up, we sat at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
But sometimes it wasn't always at the kitchen table.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like holidays at my parents, we never. Yeah. Sometimes we could never sit at the table during holidays just because there were so many of us.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's funny now that you're telling me that, for people who don't know, because I was born and raised in Punjab. Most nights, my mom, she would cook chapatis, we would call it roti. I don't know if you had those in India when you were visiting.
Is that the like bread thing?
Yeah, they're the bread things. Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
So the family would like eat together. We would get together on a kitchen kitchen table or like a dining table, my mom would be actively in the kitchen prepping food, and she would bring us fresh tortillas, we call it in America. And whenever we're all done or we're like finished, or she has enough tortillas ready, she would bring all of them in, and then she would just start eating together with us. Yeah, I do miss that too. For the most part, I think my family here, we eat together. So cool, man. That's cool.
How was your Easter?
How was my Easter?
You never told me how your Easter was.
It was great. We went to my family house. We had ham. I think we had ham and mashed potatoes.
Ooh, no scallops?
No scalloped potatoes, but I do love scalloped potatoes. Not this time. We had mashed potatoes. So it was good. It was delicious. And then we just talked. I happened to just have had a long work week. And then, yeah, because I was working Saturday as well, and Easter Sunday. I was just, I'm a very I lean more towards being an introvert person. So I needed some of my time to by myself. And I didn't have that this whole week because it was a busy week. So when Sunday came around, Easter, I was just tired. I just wanted to be left alone.
Yeah.
But I was glad I was there because, it's Easter, good time with the family, but I just wanted to be home.
You need a recharge.
I just needed to recharge myself. Other than that, it was great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm as you saw, our good friend, or many of our good friends, such as President Biden, had turned that day into, what was it, Trans Day of Visibility.
Oh, yeah.
It was all over the internet. It was crazy. A lot of people were furious. What are your thoughts on that, Josh?
I don't know. I mean, like, growing up, learning about the holidays and stuff like that. I mean, like, the holidays are something you look forward to celebrating and being with family.
Yeah.
But, like, what Biden is doing is, if I understand correctly, he was pretty much trying to erase Easter.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, I mean,
probably not, like, fully, but...
Yeah. He definitely was doubling down on, because he posted all these posts all about Trans Day of Visibility. He tripled down on his Twitter X account, and so many other politicians and CEO of the world had done the same exact thing.
But can't we just, like, one day focus on a holiday, just a holiday?
Well, just do, and I thought it was ridiculous. I don't agree with any of it. Like I was sharing this earlier with you. We live in a free country.
Yeah.
People should have any right to become whatever they want to be. Trans, leprechaun, gay, cat, dog, whatever. You be whatever you want to be. Just don't, put it on my.
Don't shove it down my throat.
Don't shove it down my throat. I would, and I'm standing by my words. I do think whatever trans thing is, it's a mental disorder. I think it's something going on with in your mind if you think you needed to be a trans person. And I feel sad for these individuals. That's why a lot of them regret transitioning after many years, because it put their body through in so much stress. That their body, you're basically doing something that's unnatural, and of course their body's going to react really badly. So I feel bad for them, but it's just more sad that all these companies are pushing all these ideologies that go become whatever you want to be.
Disney's one of them.
Yeah, Disney definitely.
Disney's like a huge one of them.
Right.
Like half of the Disney movies that come out now
super woke
are geared
Super
to the
woke.
kids, thinking that it's okay to be something else than
Right.
a kid or
Yeah.
a girl or a boy.
Right. Disney is.
Let kids just be kids.
We'll talk about that too. Disney is a good topic to talk about. But just to, because I was on Twitter, I saw there was furious in the conservative side of America. People are like, "Oh, this is outrageous. This is crazy. How can you just make Easter, a beautiful religious day, into a trans day of visibility, whatever that even means?" So just to give that credit, um, Easter always falls on the last Sunday of March, correct?
Mm.
Right?
I think sometimes there's like a leap year, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still the last Sunday of the March,
yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just double check. Is Easter on the last Sunday of every March? Let's see. So it says Easter happens on the Sunday following the Paschal full moon. It can fall on any date between 22nd and April 25. Interesting. Okay. And it says for the most recent years, it had always been the last Sunday. Has Easter always been on a... Is it... So Easter's always been on a Sunday, I'm guessing.
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay. So...
Not any other day.
Okay, now let's see. I don't even know who created these things. I feel like every month there's a completely brand spanking new day that they're making it to be.
I can tell you for a fact that now, from the time like when I was in school till now, there's way more holidays and national days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like now there's a lot. Well, there's so many days a month that they're saying, oh, it's this kind of month. It's not real. It just, they're pushing and trying to push all these days. During, I'm not 100% sure, but I have a feeling, I'm positive, during the time when Hitler was around, I'm sure there was a lot of days that he was celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
And those days probably were only around during his time. I'm sure there were days. So I'm sure some in the future, 50 to 100 years, a lot of they're going to look back in the history, look at these days that all this hysteria stuff was happening. But I just want to look up the Trans Day of Visibility. So it says Sunday, March 31st. Okay. Trans Day of Visibility 2023. It was March 31st. Okay. So this is all I wanted to say. So basically, Trans Day of Visibility, whatever that even means, is always on March 31st. So it just happened to be that Easter was on that day this year. So it's not like they were purposely trying to push Easter on that day. I don't agree with this day at all. I think it's a made up day. It's whatever this is. It's ridiculous. It says, I'm looking at it right now, International Transgender Day of Visibility is an annual event occurring every March 31st since 2009.
What?
Dedicated to celebrating transgender people and raising awareness of discrimination faced by transgender people worldwide. Now, of course, I don't agree with the discrimination, but of course, if you dress up like a man but you're a woman or the other way around, you're gonna look ridiculous because that's just the reality of it. So you're gonna get made fun of. You know, if you're a man with fake breast and you're wearing a skirt out there, you look like something's wrong with you.
With a 5 o'clock shadow.
Right. People are going to you're going to get made fun of, you know? So if that's what you call it, discrimination, but you're going to get made fun of, and it doesn't matter who you are. You don't even have to be a transgender, you know? It's just ridiculous. Okay. So yeah, everyone just
Boy, this world is wild.
I think of a movie. What was that one movie where it was like this movie was called Ridiculous. Movie about ridiculousness.
Well, I know there was that show on MTV back then that was called the Ridiculousness. I think it was like Rob something.
No, there is this Idiocracy.
Oh.
Have you seen that movie?
I don't think so.
So,
But I think you were the one that was telling me about it.
yes, I want to watch. We should watch that movie. It
Will you watch it?
It is okay. It's like extra funny now. So hey, I'll read a little bit about the movie. What it's all about. It says, in 2005, average in every way private, Joe Burrow is selected to take part in a secret military experiment to put him in hibernation for a year, along with a woman named Rita. The slumbering duo is forgotten when the base they are stored on is closed down and left in stasis until 2505. Whoa. When they finally wake up, they discover the average intelligence of human has decreased so much that Joe is now the smartest man in the world. So, in the movie Idiocracy, everything that's happening right now, this transgender person, the true is actually false and false is actually true. Nobody has any common sense. If you actually watch that movie, is exactly what is happening today. It's just crazy. We should watch that movie.
It actually does sound pretty good.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very funny movie. But moving on, I wanted to share a story. We talked a little bit about this on our last podcast. This is a story I was reading actually about squatters again.
Oh,
and there's a movement going on in America. And most of this movement is from all these socialist, communist politicians or organizations where they push for people to find empty homes to take over. And these non-profit organization,
like homes that they're trying to sell.
No. So let's say you have a house. Let's say you have a house in, I don't want to say Florida, because Florida.
We'll talk about Florida in a minute. I got something to share with you.
Let's say you have a house in California.
Okay.
Right. But that is just your vacation home. So you're not there. These organizations, non-profit organizations, they seek those empty homes, and then they find people who follow their similar values and tell them, hey, go trespass the house, start living in the house. And they basically like, you have our backs. If they come back and try to kick you out, we'll give you lawyers. And these are... So I'm going to read the story to you. So this is from San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco 4 years. It's crazy. The San Francisco Tenant Union, which works with local officials to draft housing legislation, not only has how-to guide to squatting on their website, also has links to a list of vacant properties available to be taken over by squatters.
Oh my God.
What do you think of that, Josh?
That's just nuts. I mean, people go on vacations and stuff like that. Take time away from work and spend it with their families.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there just tells me like you can't do that.
This is like straight up illegal. This is what
I mean, they're literally saying, from what you're telling me, is they're giving the okay to say, hey, this person's on vacation, go in, break into the house, and just start your life in that house. And when they come back, we'll just arrest them and send them to jail. Like, what?
Exactly. This is what cartel does in Mexico. This is what gangs and cartels does in Central America. That's what they do. I mean, that's another thing that's also happening today too. But what they do, they look for empty homes and they just take over, and that's it. There's no way you're ever gonna get that home back, not from a cartel, because there's no help you're gonna get from the police.
Mm-hmm.
Police scared of the cartel in Mexico and all these Central American countries. And another one of the cases we talked about, and this is from Seattle, where the tenant union is paying for the squatters' attorney fees to fight against the landlord so he can basically take over this over $1 million, almost a $2 million property in Seattle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the guy who owns it is an immigrant, hardworking Punjabi man from India who worked his ass off and finally was able to pay off this property, and he wanted to start making money and to put it out for rent. And this Korean man, took it over, and Seattle councilman, Seattle mayor, they all on the side of this squatter who's been illegally staying on that property for over 2 years.
What?
Yeah. There's many stories from New York City where families have gone bankrupt and gone into debt because they can't get the squatters out. Now they have attorney fees they have to pay to attorneys. They got to pay mortgage of the house where the squatters are squatting at. They still have to pay the utilities because the utilities were originally been in the names of the owner and everything else.
Are you telling me that even though the person that owns a house and they get arrested, they still have to pay for their home that they don't live in anymore because a squatter took over?
Absolutely.
See, that's ridiculous.
This is just nothing. You know where this came from? I remember seeing this. I can find. I'm sure I have it here. I'll remember seeing this articles, and this was happening when I was living in San Francisco, where people had this mentality. And people had stopped calling police, but where this mentality had came from, all these socialist council mayors and congressmen and council people in San Francisco, where if you're getting robbed, if somebody break into your car, not to call the police, because if you call the police, you're racist. I'm not making this stuff up.
Dude, if I catch someone breaking in my car, I will do everything I can to cripple that person.
Right, but then you're gonna, because what? Then you.
I mean, I'd probably go to jail, but
you probably go to jail, and what would happen? The criminal you were crippling, who is a criminal, will have a GoFundMe where he'll make millions of dollars, and you'll be labeled as racist. You'll get
good for him.
You'll get thrown in jail, and you won't have any job anymore, probably because you're white.
Mm-hmm. That's all right.
It's true. Then I saw this thing and brought back many memories. I think it is from 2020. It says San Francisco Bicycle Coalition, whatever that is, says not to call police about stolen bikes because it hurts, quote, black and brown people.
What do you mean it hurts them? I don't understand.
It's basically you're calling cops against black and brown people because they're the ones stealing bikes. And I'm guessing that's what that means.
But again, that just goes back to if you're committing a crime.
It's the whole idea behind this. It says the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition wrote about their dedication to anti-racism in 2020 and have held panels on the intersection of race and bicycles. Like, these people have lost it. Intersection of race and bicycles, and promised to end the systematic bicycle white supremacy. I'm not even making this up.
I've never even heard this before.
Bro, this is so funny.
That doesn't
I'm going to
even
read
make
this
sense.
again. It says have held panels on the intersection of race and bicycles and promised to end the systemic bicycle white supremacists. This is crazy.
Wait, are they saying bicycles are racist or?
Yeah, I guess.
It's like-
I'm guessing because a lot of my understanding of this is it says to end the systemic bicycle white supremacy.
What?
Maybe because a lot of people who like to bike are white people in that area, and their bikes are getting stolen by blacks and brown people. That's probably what I'm thinking. So then those white people call the cops.
Is this just in a city or is this like?
It's probably it's in San Francisco. I don't see this
Oh.
happening outside of. Well, I mean, I'm sure this is happening outside of San Francisco, like in Oakland or like
I
Sacramento.
was gonna say if you go to
Any
like,
liberal city. But if you go way outside the Bay Area, it's all hardworking people. No, I don't see this happening in there. At least right now.
I mean, I was gonna say, like you go to campgrounds and like in the country or something like that, especially the campgrounds though. Maybe not so much in the country, but campgrounds, you'll see like all different people riding bikes,
Crazy.
not just whites. Just saying.
Right. No, I agree with you. This
But like
is
the whole.
Right. No, I agree with you. But according to them, only whites are racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I saw this another thing. This is actually I'm not on TikTok, but because I do a lot of the research stuff on here, and then I followed this TikTok where this TikToker who has over 100,000 followers was posting. He's like a very far left he's like an anti-landlord activist. He launches an address directory of empty properties for squatters to seize. And he has like millions of views and the address of all these properties that he's putting it out. Crazy.
I mean, what would you do if you were on vacation and you found someone living in your home?
If I go in and somebody's living in there, I'm gonna shoot him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me,
Because they're intruder.
that's my house,
Yep.
and that person is an intruder. I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shoot him.
Yep.
Self-defense.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
Yep. And you know what's funny is, did you hear that? I think it's in Florida. The sheriff was saying, there was a sheriff in Florida, I think it was, that he was saying to taxpayers that he's pretty much giving them permission. If there's an intruder in your home, you shoot him.
Yeah.
You're actually doing the police force a favor because you're helping them out.
Right. Yeah. That's why Florida is great. I mean, I love everything they have. I love it. They just have really good rules and regulation. There are no squatter rights. There shouldn't be any squatter rights, you know. It's just crazy. Now, if there was an agreement made between a landlord and a tenant, and it's like a lease for 1 year, and the landlord is breaking that lease by increasing the rent. Now, yeah, I think there should be, I think the tenant have every right to sue or just stay on that property until the issue is resolved. But
well, yeah, especially if you sign something, let's just say for a year, you sign an agreement for a year that you're going to live there,
right,
and whatever is in the contract, and
right,
then the landlord decides to break that for whatever reason,
right, you know, that then it makes sense. But without it just it doesn't make any sense. Something like this would not fly by in other countries, especially all these socialist countries that talk about. Crazy. So, are you ready about tomorrow? What do you think?
the solar eclipse.
The solar eclipse. What do you think? What do you think this? Like, now, of course, I know it's a big deal. It's not a. I feel like it's. My opinion on this is that it's not as big of a deal as people are making it to be.
Well, a lot of people are saying this is like the last solar eclipse I'll ever see.
Why?
Probably goes back to the whole thing of the world's gonna end, but I don't think the world's gonna end.
I mean, if you're like 90-year-old, yeah, you're probably right. This is probably the last solar eclipse you're ever gonna see.
I mean, the last eclipse I saw, I think it was like a half eclipse, was in 2017,
Okay.
and I was up north. But I mean, this is like from what I'm understanding, this is a full solar eclipse. But I mean, I don't know, it's just gonna be any other day for me.
Yeah.
No matter what, I still have to go to work tomorrow. So
Hey, when you're a hardworking person, you still gotta go to work. I remember during pandemic when everybody else was not laid off. They just didn't. A lot of them just didn't work or didn't want to show up to work because they just felt scared of the Chinese coronavirus. I was working every single day. I was working for Coca-Cola. I was in
really?
Yeah, I was in the Bay Area. I was working with Coca-Cola, and pandemic happened while everybody was afraid of going to the grocery stores or supermarkets. I was going to, depending on my day, I was going from like 5 to 8 different supermarkets every day so I can stock Coca-Cola and all the Coca-Cola products. That's what I used to do.
Were you a driver?
I was no, I wasn't a driver. I was what they call it, a merchandiser. So I would drive around. So I would wake up. I had to wake up at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. and I would have a list, and I would just follow the list. The list would tell me where to go, what store to go, and I would I would go to CVS, I would go to Walgreens. Whenever I had those two, CVS, Walgreens, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be easy day. But here and there, I would see a Walmart in there or Target, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna be in those stores for hours because now I have to pull pallets. So now I'll be like sweating, and last thing I cared about is my mask being on properly when you're just hauling all these pallets. It was crazy.
What do you mean you didn't have your mask
Well,
on your forehead or?
No, I had to put on a mask,
Yeah.
because that's where all the mask stuff was going on. But I couldn't. A lot of the time, I couldn't breathe. I'm like, man, I can't have this mask on. Like, I would just put it down. I couldn't breathe because I was pulling all these pallets. Look at me, I'm skinny. It was crazy, but it was good though. It was a good job. It was a really good job.
It was good for your lungs.
It was good for my lungs. Yeah, it was a lot of work. I had to quit because it was I had some injuries. I had some knee and back injuries, and it wasn't even that. It was more, I think, because I had to drive my own car every single day.
Oh, really?
So I would drive like over 100, 150 miles every single day, and they would give you the gas money. It was not a lot, but at the end of the day, I was putting a lot of miles on my car and maintenance.
Did you have to keep track of your miles and everything?
No, the only thing they give you was because the system would automatically track the miles, how many miles you go to. They didn't pay you the maintenance or anything. The only thing they would pay you was the gas.
Wow.
Which wasn't a lot, and I'm like, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot of wear and tear, especially in your personal vehicle.
Right. It was a lot of wear and tear. I was driving a lot. And whenever I would get done around the evening, 4 or 5, then I'm stuck in traffic because now it's a commute coming back home. Then I would just get stuck in traffic. Now I'm just stuck for hours. So by the time I'm home, it's like 6 or 7 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm exhausted. I've been up since over 12, 13 hours. I'll be exhausted. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But kudos to those people who do it every day. It was a hard working job. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. But
oh, I mean, like going back to the solar eclipse though. I mean, they're talking about an eclipse when it happens that like all stores are going to be like closed for X amount of hours. I mean, like, I think like my dad was telling me the other day that like Valley's going to be closed for like 3 hours.
it's gonna be closed for. Sorry, you say it's gonna be closed for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what he said. He said he saw a sign that they were closing for 3 hours. And like we were at Tim Hortons the other day, we got coffees.
Okay.
Me and my wife, and there was a sign saying that they were closed from like X amount of time to X amount of time.
Okay.
But I mean, like if you,
it does make sense.
well, there's a lot of safety reasons. There's a lot of people that are coming in this area that aren't from here. I mean, they're projecting over 1 million people in this area.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers, but people are traveling here because we have the best viewing locations.
Like, I mean, I guess that's a big deal. Like, I guess it's a big deal for if you've never seen it before. I don't know. I've seen eclipse before. They weren't as crazy of an eclipse as this one going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out, I guess. My views might change. Maybe I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh yeah, this was actually a really big deal. It was crazy. It was good. So we'll find out.
Make sure you have a pair of glasses.
Oh yeah, no, I do. I bought some off Amazon.
Perfect.
Yeah, it says NASA approved. Of course, I don't think NASA was approving.
They didn't come straight from NASA.
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's just saying it's NASA approved. I don't think it's like NASA approved. I don't think so. But
what if we found out they actually came from NASA?
There's
cool.
There's no way. You know where they come from? China.
Hey.
That's exactly where they come from.
Yeah. Well, pretty much everything in America is China.
Yeah, which is sad, but anyways. So that's happening.
Make sure you get a full tank of gas.
I already have a full tank of gas. I'm also not going anywhere. I requested time off from my work about 4 months ago, and I don't think they knew what that day was, and they just gave it to me. And last time I checked, they were already asking a lot of people to be like, hey, can you work Monday?
Who's going to come in and like shop on the eclipse?
Oh, trust me, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be coming in and shopping that day. Oh, yeah. Remember when we had this one storm? The big storm we had.
The winter storm?
Yeah, big
Was
winter.
that the one a couple of years ago?
No. Well, it was the one this year, but it wasn't as big. But it was like we had a lot of snow. Mm-hmm. We had to shut down where I work. And as soon as we opened, we were stormed with people. A lot of people came in. So, yeah, I was very surprised. I was not expecting a lot of people to show up, but a lot of people did show up. So,
well, yeah. I mean, even like a storm like that, like a snowstorm, you get that cabin fever feeling.
Yeah.
And you just want to like go outside and do something else.
Right.
It's just like the same thing like when during like the whole quarantine during the pandemic. Like remember how they were telling people, oh, don't go outside. Oh, don't go to the store. Oh, stay inside. Don't do this. Don't even go to a park.
That thing was ridiculous.
Dude,
I remember people, I was walking with my girlfriend at that time.
Mm-hmm.
We were walking in San Francisco. We were outside in a park, and this lady walked by. We didn't have any masks. We were outside. You don't
need a mask outside.
And she made a comment, hey, nice masks. And we turned around and like, oh, thanks. Came from my common sense.
Oh, she probably got so mad.
Yeah, it was crazy. Anyways, I wanted to remember I was telling you something about, hey, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you were like, oh, I want to know what he did.
Mm-hmm.
So he recently had an interview, and in that interview, he says that he regret endorsing Biden, and that was one of the worst mistakes ever.
Really?
Yeah, and he will not be endorsing Biden again.
What's that?
I don't know. But that's what he says. I don't know. What do you think? Why do you think he said that?
I don't know. I really don't know too much about that. But I'm sure there's a whole lot behind that. Probably a lot of political. Probably the way I would imagine probably some money deals involved.
Whenever these people whenever any of the celebrities endorse anybody, there's always money involved.
100%.
Always. There's always something, whether it's money or something else. I don't know how they do things, but he's not the only one. We have so many other celebrities coming up, and they're saying they're not going to be endorsing him. A lot of celebrities are now supporting Trump. And
they probably don't like how the world is going right now.
People are starting to wake up, and the people with common sense, even the people who probably voted Biden, and now they see what's happening, and now they're like, okay, they have some common sense. They don't like how the things are going, so now they're not going to endorse this guy. They're probably gonna vote for the other guy, and the only other option they have is Trump.
Well, dude, you even like a lot of the Democrats that were like on the.
Like Tulsi Gabbard. Like, she used to be a Democrat. Yeah. She's no longer a Democrat anymore.
Yeah, like half of these Democrats are now like, what? You guys are nuts.
Yeah.
No, they're like, let's actually, have a plan to build an economy, not just destroy it and, let it go to shit.
Funny you mentioned that. John Fetterman, right?
I don't think I do.
Let me show you his photo. John Fetterman. He is... What is he?
He's like a House Speaker?
No, he's a Pennsylvania senator. He's the guy. Let me see if I can show you this. Ooh, hopefully I won't make any mess. You know what we need? We need like a TV on there that we can put stuff on there. This guy? You remember this guy?
I think I've seen his picture before.
Anyways, he's like, over the last few years, he's been he's very Democrat, very left, but he recently made some comments which I was like, wow, this came from like a Democrat's mouth. Pretty surprising, but good for him. So this is what he said. This is a quote by him, and in this quote, he says, "Squatters have no rights, and I'm not woke."
Thank you.
Right. I'm guessing he's finally waking up. They're finally realizing, like, this is stupid, I'm guessing. So, and he says, squatters have no rights. How can you even pretend that this is anything other than you're just breaking the law? Yeah.
At least one person can see it.
Right. And it says, if you have those kind of established records, that doesn't know. Offending long enough to help accountable. Basically saying you should held them accountable right here. There's a big article.
That just goes back to like what we were just saying earlier today. That if you do something wrong, break the law, you're held accountable.
Right.
You pay the fine, you go to jail, you do your time.
Yeah.
But if you call the cops on someone that breaks into your house because, they want to live there and you went on vacation with your family and you come back and you call the cops on them, you go to jail. They don't. That's just nuts.
Yeah. There's these numbers I want to share with you. Mm-hmm. These are the number of... let me see if I can find it.
What are you looking up the numbers of?
Is the numbers of the increase of Chinese illegal immigrants since 2021, I believe it is. Let me try to find it. I thought I saved it. See, this is another thing we're gonna do. If you want to talk about something, I need to just have it all on like a page, so I don't have to look for it. Hold on, just 1 second. But basically, this number, while I look for this, number is about the illegal Chinese immigrant numbers, the population numbers since 2021, of how many of them have crossed the border. And I think the number in 2020 was in like few hundreds during Trump. I think it was like 100 or like 200. And I believe in 2021, the number had increased to like few thousand. At this point, Biden had taken over the office.
Wasn't this past December like the highest number?
So I'm gonna give you numbers for like all during the Trump and after the Trump. During the Trump, when he was there, the number of and these people get arrested under Trump, and there was like in few hundreds, right? And then hits 2021. I cannot find the number, but I can tell you the ballpoint numbers right here. Then 2021 happened, and here you go. I found it. Okay. So it said Border Patrol arrests Chinese nationals who crossed the U.S. border illegally over recent years. It said fiscal year 2021, 342.
Oh my God.
Right? So just wait. This is nothing. Fiscal year 2022, 1987. So that was like about 6 times more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fiscal year 2023, 24,000.
Why?
And then fiscal year 2024 so far, 2023, it was 24,125 the whole year. Fiscal year 2024 so far, we've only been in this year like 3-4 months, 22,000 already. So by the end of this year, I wouldn't be surprised if there's over 100,000 Chinese nationals who are going to cross our American border. They're illegal. What do you think of that, Josh?
I don't know. That's the thing is a lot of these people are coming over illegally. They're just going over by planes and,
So these are the Chinese nationals who cross the border illegally,
finding holes in fences and come on over.
Well, most of the border doesn't have any fence.
Well, it's open. You saw that one video where like the end of the where is it? Was it Arizona or something like that? Where like the end of the border, it like stops at like a rock wall.
Yep, I saw that one.
And then people are just like standing there, just like waving them in. They're like, okay.
And a lot of them are Chinese nationals that are coming in. Yep.
Well, did you see the thing about the Chinese emperor? He said something like
Chinese emperor. You mean the Chinese Communist Party leader? They're Xi Jinping.
I don't know his name, but he said something about how he's like, to all the Chinese citizens in U.S., like be careful, Americans.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. So they.
Wow, he's happy.
So that's great. I don't know if anybody heard that. That's our dog. I wonder if there's anybody outside. It's probably my neighbor. He did want it to come outside sometime.
Yeah, but so you did see that though? I did see. He was like basically warning the Chinese people that live in the U.S. to be careful and.
Yeah, it was they had issued a security advisory for their citizens visiting America, like, hey, be careful. There's going to be a lot of terrorist arrest threats been issued in America. So they were saying their Chinese population to be careful if you're out there. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did see that. And it's not only them who issued it. There's a lot of our American national security people also have issued the same advisory, especially surrounding the eclipse. They're telling people not to go in. Well, they're not telling people not to go. They're just saying, hey, be careful. If there are any mass gatherings, there have been a lot of threats made by ISIS, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The similar threats were made by the ISIS to Russia and you saw what happened in Russia.
Oh, you're talking about the Moscow or
In Moscow, they had the mass shootings, correct?
yeah,
Yes.
that was a concert, right?
No, it wasn't in a concert. It was
I thought it was a concert that was attacked. I could have swore it was.
I don't know. I think it was in like it might have been a I don't know. It was
Look
indoor. It was somewhere indoor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me see where it was.
Yeah, look it up real quick. Yeah, I could have swore it said it was like some concert, some theater.
It was a Moscow concert area venue.
Mm-hmm.
It was yes. It was indoor concert area venue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was like a theater.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
But yeah, it was like bombed or something like that?
it was shooting. It was shooting. Yeah,
So that's sad.
it is very, very, very sad. But yeah, have you been following what's been happening with the whole Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens? You know who they are, right?
I know who Candace Owens is. Ben Shapiro, I don't know.
You don't know Ben Shapiro?
He's not on that one podcast, is he?
He is a Jewish conservative speaker, and he's also a lawyer. He has a really good story, actually.
I don't think I do know him then.
Well, let's talk about that next. We'll talk about that next. We'll talk about the next week. But there's another thing I wanna talk about, because all these Palestinian people, they're like protesting everywhere. They're protesting in New York City. But there's this pro-Palestinian rally in Michigan that was happening, and these are some of the codes.
Are you talking about that bridge block that they did?
Well, yeah, they did that too, but this is the one in Michigan. This wasn't a bridge block. I believe it's probably this is insane. I can't even believe that this is happening right now in America. And this guy's chanting "Death to America."
What?
In America, in Michigan rally. And he's saying American is the rottenest country on earth. And
this guy is an American?
he isn't, American.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. If you're in America, if you're chanting "Death to America," I don't care if you're a citizen of America, you're not an American.
Nope.
These people are in America chanting "Death to America." Like, if you don't like this country,
then get out.
Get the F out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You choose to be here. And if you don't want to be in this country, get the F out. Like, why are you here? If you're here, you're complaining about America, get out. If you think everybody's racist, I don't see you going back to your country. I don't see you going back to whatever, Palestine or all these Middle Eastern countries. I don't see you going back. Why? Probably because they don't want you. You're not going to make any money. And you don't like it there. They'll probably get killed. That's why you don't want to go back. So if you're here, you respect the country. If you don't want to be here, get out. Get the F out.
Not to mention, too, they probably, wherever these people come from, the different countries and stuff, and the reasons why they leave to come to America is probably because, they can get stuff here and have a better life than where they're from.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of families who generally want to be in America for a better life, but then, and I just feel bad for those families. I know they're here for a good reason, but then a lot, especially now, back in the days, it used to be a lot of those families would come to America for a better life, and they would have a better life. Now what's happening, a lot of these people are coming to America. They don't even care about a better life. They just want to come here, get the better life, and still talk crap about America. That's what I'm saying. If you don't like it, get out. You don't have to be here. So, just ridiculous. I just don't get it.
Poor Lady Liberty. We gotta stand by her.
Anyways, is there else you want to talk about?
There's so much.
There's so much.
There's so much.
We can talk more about it next week. I know. I think we talked.
What time is it? 5?
It is 5. I think we talked enough today.
I think that was pretty good today.
I think so. I think there should be more next week. we'll do a little bit better. I'm gonna write down a lot of the things we're gonna talk about next week. But
Still is a good podcast.
Yeah, and next week hopefully we'll have Chris. If you're wondering where's Chris, he had a family function in his family, and family is important to him and to us. So that's why he's not here. So hopefully he'll join us next week. If not, you'll see me and Chris. You'll see me and Josh here every week.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Alrighty.